Today's guest is someone whose work feels grounded, soulful, and beautifully connected to place. Doris Costa is the founder of DOMA Weddings, where celebrations are shaped by emotion, atmosphere, and a deep respect for the setting and the people involved. Her weddings feel warm and intentional, with a natural elegance that never feels forced. I'm really looking forward to talking with Doris today about authenticity, meaningful details, and how to create weddings that truly feel like home for the couples she works with. Doris, welcome to Beyond the Cake.
Thank you so much, Julie. What an honor being introduced by your words. It was really good. Thank you.
I'm so happy you're here. So I guess I wanted to start with the basic of the basic questions, which is what led you into the world of wedding planning, and how did DOMA Weddings come to life?
So I was working actually to a corporate events company before, while I was in college. Actually, that's where I started with all the events. I actually did a lot of events while working there, and one of them actually led me to work on my first wedding. It was one of our clients. She wanted to get married, and she asked us if we could help her. She loved our work, and she was connected with us in some way, of course. And I remember how afraid I was because it's such a different kind of event. But in the end, she trusted us, and we actually helped her. It was a very small wedding, but I loved it. And it's when I understood that it was exactly what I wanted to do. Not, of course, I really like to do also corporate, but the weddings, it feels completely different, as you know. So then sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, what percentage do you do weddings versus corporate?
So 90% are weddings. We actually don't have a lot of time to do any other more than what we can, but we still do some birthday parties, but mostly weddings, of course. So as I was saying, so then I started working in a wedding planning agency. I stayed there for some years as their team leader, and I was not only doing wedding planning, but I also was doing floral design and rentals. At the same time. Of course, it gave me a very good experience in the market, but in the end, it didn't allow me to focus on the curated events that I wanted to do, and how personalized our service could be. As I was doing 40 weddings a year, not only my weddings but also my team's weddings, so I couldn't be completely focused, and not only planning them but also doing all the floral design, being with the rentals and all. So 4 years ago, Margarita, that my business partner and my best friend, she pushed me to open DOMA. And finally, I'm able to actually deliver what I wanted to with my clients, which is full exclusivity and attention.
Amazing. Yeah, I feel like you have such a connection to the emotional side of things. How would you describe your approach and your style?
So that's a very good question. And so in DOMA, we always say that our favorite style is actually creating tailor-made experiences for our couples. I can't say that we actually have a specific style, but rather we love working with emotions. But I would also say that a timeless aesthetic is our approach, with a little sprinkle of trends, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's interesting to really understand the client and be able to translate what their essence is using your knowledge base into something amazing. When you first meet a couple, what helps you to understand their story and what type of celebration might feel right for them?
Yeah. So when we do our introductory call, we always ask them to share a bit about how they met, what they like to do together, where they love to travel, why they chose Portugal, of course. And we also send them a kickoff questionnaire where we have a few questions about them, about their family, about their style, for example, how they decorate their home, giving some insights of their life, not only together, but also as individuals. What we think is like a wedding should feel authentic, so authentic and emotional, and having as much as input from our couples help us being like a friend planning their wedding, but with the necessary know-how.
Yeah, so I was going to say, adjectives that make me think of your weddings are like they're warm, they're friendly, they're authentic, like you were saying. And so not like overly produced or overly styled like you see, some of these things out there. It's just like you can tell that it's a production and it's not like thought out. So when you're designing for a client, what makes you think that a wedding feels truly meaningful to them?
Yeah, I think based on also what I said before, for me, what makes the most beautiful weddings is authenticity and intention. This is mainly what we feel. And that's why always we try to plan weddings as a mirror image of the personality of our clients, not, as I said, not only as individual, but as a couple. Like, I always think that having a TikTok trend on your wedding over some years after, you will look back and I can assure you, you will not feel connected to it.
Yeah. If TikTok still even exists in a couple of years.
It's true. That's
true. Are there certain details or certain moments during the actual day that have the biggest emotional impact?
Absolutely. I would say like first looks. The majority of the couples don't know how important this moment is. I know the idea of seeing each other in front of everyone, walking down the aisle is beautiful, but in front of everyone, I feel like it misses one of the most important parts of the day. Like their moments alone, just them two. And that's why I feel like a first look is so important. It's just them looking at each other, taking time to embrace that moment. And of course, all the family dynamics. When both families already have such a good dynamic, like I think the wedding celebration unfolds in such a spectacular way. Like I always feel so emotional with that moment that a father or brother gives the bride to the groom. It's like I always feel chills with that moment. So beautiful.
Yeah. And the cake moment.
And the cake, of course, and the cake. That's actually true. That's very good.
So we all know that weddings can be like super intense and super emotional and stressful. How do you help your couples stay grounded and, have the ability to like enjoy every moment? Because I think that's really hard for people.
Yeah, that's very true. So we always start our introductory calls like saying that they can't look at us just as their planners. They should look as I told you before, like a friend, like they can actually trust. Yeah, and sit back. Like that's the thing. It's like you should sit back while we plan the most beautiful day of their lives. That's always what I say. So the most important part for me is trust. It's actually knowing that you can trust us. And I can assure you, you will enjoy the ride in the end. So, of course, we have some couples that just need to have weekly calls so we can just talk. Like I have a lot of couples that they just want to talk about life because they feel that it's important to talk with me. So I think that's really important, like the connection that they create with us. And of course, having quick and informed replies also helps. And I always say that's why having the best team by my side also helps a lot. So,
yeah, you guys have a fairly good sized team, right?
Oh yeah, we do. So it's like always me, Margarida, and Maria during all the process of the planning. But then on the day of, we are at least 5 on the actual day, or can be up to 8. So we have a really nice team to work with.
Amazing. When you talk about like on the day and venues and personalizing things, like I always wonder, like, how does the location influence the way that you come up with the design for each wedding?
So I would say, and it's also something that we always remember the couples, it's a venue influences a lot. So for me, it's one of our first steps. It helps understanding the flow of the day, guest count, style, and ultimately it's the foundation for most of the planning decisions, I would say.
Yeah, and we have so many amazing venues to choose from in Portugal. It's like
We do.
we're very lucky, right?
Yes, we are, for sure.
In terms of, so for all the weddings you've done, I guess since you've established DOMA, is there one specific wedding or one specific moment that stays in your mind and you always think like, that's the reason I do what I do, or that's why I love what I do so much?
Definitely. I do have a few. Over the 10 years doing weddings, I do have a lot of moments, but every time someone asks me that kind of question, I always remember one that recently marked me the most. So we had a bride that unfortunately her parents couldn't come to the wedding, and we only knew about it at the welcome party. So they tried to come. There was a storm in the Atlantic, and their flights were getting canceled. So on the actual morning of the wedding, I was trying to cheer up the bride as much as I could. And her dad, besides not only being able to come as her father, he was also the officiant of the wedding. So we managed to have her brothers, that was 4, I believe, joining forces, and they ended up officiating their wedding. And I can say it was one of the most beautiful and emotional ceremonies we had, of course. And after some months, I received a letter from her mom that, even just thinking, always make me emotional. She was thanking me for taking such good care of her daughter when she couldn't be by her side. And I knew, like, I of course, during all these years doing weddings, I know how happy I am doing what I do. But at that moment, I knew this is exactly what I will be doing for the rest of my life.
I'm going to break away from my questions a little bit just to comment on this, because I think this is really important, and I think it's like a dying art. I think that I feel the same way. Like when you get a handwritten thank you note from the couple or from somebody in the wedding, recognizing what you've done for them, I think not that many people do that anymore, but it's so impactful. And I don't know, like I have a board in my studio here where I put all of my cards and things from clients, and I love to look at it because it's such a reassurance, because in today's world it's like there aren't always a lot of signs of like thankfulness and gratefulness, and I think like we're the people behind the scenes, and it's really important that our clients recognize all the hard work that we do. I think that's amazing that somebody's mom wrote you that, and it's like it doesn't really cost anything to do something like that, and it's just really, really meaningful. So I love that.
Yeah, it was really, really beautiful. And I'm very lucky with my couples. They always have some time to send some thank you notes, and which I love to have hang on our wall. So it's really beautiful.
Amazing. Okay, so let's talk about cake. How do you think, from your perspective, and I know like we've worked together a little bit and I would love to work with you more. From your perspective, how does the wedding cake fit into the overall design concept, and overall feeling and rhythm of the wedding or the celebration?
So honestly, I really hope that the new generations, if we might say, like have a bit more attention to the cake as they have been doing now. Mm-hmm. I really think it can be such a beautiful moment. Like you can honor so much like family traditions if you want to. Yeah. So in my perspective, I would say a cake can act as a piece of art, enhancing all the decoration that we created. And of course, I always think that it serves a way of bringing the guests together to share, like even symbolic, a commitment, right? To provide for one another. And that's what I always feel that the couple forgets. They always think like, oh, it's like a traditional moment. I want to deconstruct a bit my day. And they forget that it doesn't have to be made in a very traditional way. Like we can create the cake as a moment, like a very special moment for them. So yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really important because, you know, obviously I think cake is important, but I think that it's an interesting way to slow down a very fast day.
Sure.
And a lot of times, you know, like I remember getting the advice like, you know, enjoy every moment and whatever. And then it blows by and you're like, wow, wait, what? That's over? And so when you stop and have the cake cutting ceremony, whether it's, you know, at whatever time of the day, like I have a lot of clients that do it before the cocktail hour, like right after the ceremony. And I like that because it's like a pause and you really think like, okay, this is actually like, it's about the union of these two people. Or you do it, you know, after dinner and before you open the dance floor, because it's like that regrouping, like everybody's chit-chatting at all the tables, and then you regroup and you have that moment and you're like, they're why we're here. And then you go on. And I do think it's a really nice nod to tradition and to like parents and grandparents and maybe like family members who are no longer here. It's like something, it's like a moment to like stop and think and appreciate. And it's funny because I know like a lot of younger couples are like foregoing the tradition and doing something alternative. And I think that alternative is great as an addition to, but I think like what you were saying before, like, you know, a TikTok trend in 5 or 10 years, like these couples who are foregoing this tradition, I think could possibly look back in 10 years and be like, wow, you know, why didn't we do that? Like my grandparents were there and they're no longer here. And like, they would have loved to have seen that or something, you know, like I don't know, like I sign all my cakes with a gold dragonfly because my grandmother's no longer here, but like, I know my grandparents loved seeing us cut the cake and my grandmother made wedding cakes. So it's like, for me, there's a connection, but I think it's important. I'm answering my own question. Sorry.
No.
Like,
I love it.
Wait a second.
I agree 100%.
And sorry. And I think that sometimes I notice like sometimes when I'm working with a planner, they'll be like, oh, they don't want a cake. And I'm like, why? You know, we don't really delve into that. It's like, okay, one less thing to do. And I'm like, I hope that, and I'm not a trend kind of person, but I hope that there's a trend out there of explaining or providing knowledge to the couples getting married as to why it's important, because it's a really special moment.
And it's such a way of like connecting moments, like as you were saying, like can be made at the end of the cocktail, at the beginning of the cocktail, can be at the end of the dinner. So I do think we love, as DOMA, we love the cake moment. It's really important. It's always a very happy moment for us. And it's always so good. Like even when we are doing the mood boards, we always have like a dedicated page just for the cake because it's really important. I think we should just make a trend. Like, let's do cakes.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. I think Portugal should be like the epicenter for like, if you come to Portugal to get married, you have to have like the most beautiful cake, even if it's small, it can be small, but like focus on cake. So speaking about Portugal, and you know how much I love Portugal. I've been there for 28 years. I don't know, you know, I have a story of why I chose Portugal, but like now I think it's different. And I think even from 5 years ago, it's different why couples choose Portugal to get married. What do you think draws people to Portugal? What do you think, like all of a sudden it's like the place to go to get married? Yay. Like, I'm so excited. And I know we're all in the industry. We're all so excited about it.
Yeah, of course, like TikTok helps. That's what it is. And I have a lot of couples reaching out to us with that in mind as well. Oh, I saw on a TikTok trend, or I saw like, we don't have a lot of couples, and like 90% of our couples come from the United States. And they do see a lot of trends and you know, like it's of course like seeing on Instagram, seeing on TikTok. Like I have a lot of couples that never been in Portugal and they want to get married there. But in the end, I do think that our history and character is what draws them also to want to get married here. And I do think like the uniqueness of Portugal, what we can offer alongside the amazing food, is what draws all our couples here. And most of my couples are used to going to at least 4 weddings a year, and in their group of friends, and for their wedding, I think they want something unique. And Portugal can actually offers that. Like even to this day, I love to see their reactions when we visit places like Palácio de Queluz, Palácio de Setiais, Pena Palace, like those kind of places. It's different, and they feel like it's so magical, you know.
Yeah, they're really unique. I mean, where else? I don't know. Like, I think, well, like I said, we're so fortunate to have all of these amazing, national palaces and monuments and places that anywhere else in the world you probably wouldn't be able to get married at. And they're available. And about food, like, we have amazing food and we have amazing catering companies who do like magical things that I've never seen anywhere else. And, it's in our Portugal, which is incredible. And the weather. I mean, we have so many awesome
Sure.
things. Yeah,
That's true. The weather also helps.
the weather helps. Yeah, except for the last couple
Yeah.
weeks. Yeah, forget about that. What helps you to be inspired creatively and on a personal level? Like, where do you draw your inspiration from? How do you innovate your ideas? All that kind of stuff.
So I'm always so drawn to my couple stories, actually. So I do believe that's what makes me inspired every single day. Of course, like people that we met along the way, that's what inspired me the most. And of course, I love to travel the world. Like I'm always at least twice a year, I always try to go out and see. So that's what inspires me the most, like my couples and of course the world itself.
Amazing. Okay, I want to ask you some quick questions, like rapid fire questions. You can answer like in a word or a sentence, and not meant to be like a completely drawn out thing. So, what is your favorite wedding tradition? Now that we've been talking about traditions.
Favorite wedding tradition? I would say walking down the aisle with your dad. That's my favorite. And not only like for my couples, like I'm thinking on my experience, that was one of the most important parts.
Yeah, it like takes your breath away.
Yeah.
What is one detail that couples often forget about?
Cake.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah. No, I shouldn't say yeah, I should say boo. Well, okay, maybe the answer is the same for the next one. What is the one thing couples should splurge on?
The cake. No, I'm saying honestly, I think like now when we are planning and when I send like the timeline for my couples, I always have like cake time just as an idea. And they always say like, we don't know if we want to do a cake time. I'm like, why? Oh, it's like we don't need to splurge on that part. And I'm saying like, you don't need to splurge, but you can. Like, we can actually include on the budget. So that's my honest opinion.
Thank you. What is one thing that you think couples should never stress about? Okay.
No, honestly, timeline. Like we are there. And on the day, if you are stressed, how well planned it will be, like how timings would work, you will not be enjoying the moment. Definitely not. And like a wedding can feel 5 seconds. It's so intense that if you are not present in the moment, like actually enjoying it, you can lose, and you will feel FOMO from your guests. Like your guests enjoyed it.
Exactly. Most creative wedding favor you've ever seen?
Most creative.
Most
wedding.
unusual.
I would say like we love to use the swallows, the Portuguese swallows. I don't know. I actually have one. Let me show you. And I think like
Oh, I love
we
those.
always use this as like some wall, like we usually put on a wall, and we have like that ring that just gives you champagne. And I'm saying this is one of my favorites, because I always feel that the guests, especially the American guests, when they have this, they are like, "Why?" And we always live a note, and they always feel so connected to it, like how traditional this is, like young love. It's like
Mm.
the symbol of eternity and everything. So that's one of my favorites.
I have a whole wall of them in my studio in Florida. I love
Yeah,
them.
I love
It's
them
so
too.
special. Yeah, that's an amazing gift. Okay, what's the most extravagant wedding feature you've ever planned?
Most extravagant feature. That's an actually very good question. Uh, I would say a bride that wore 6 wedding dresses on the wedding day.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
How,
So we had
how
like a
long was the
full.
wedding from start to finish?
So we started at 4 and ended at 2 a.m. So you can imagine the timeline. It was dress change, dress change.
Oh my God, a dress change every 2 hours. Or
Yeah,
no, less, every 1.5 hours. Yeah.
yeah.
Holy
It was
moly.
again trends and pictures,
Wow.
but it was, yeah. I think that was one of the most extravagant ones.
Oh my gosh. If you could do a celebrity wedding, who would it be for?
Hmm. Oh God, I never thought about it. Should I?
Really?
I never thought about it, honestly. I would say F1 drivers because I really love F1 drivers. And actually, Charles Leclerc just had his wedding, and I would love to have that.
Oh
So,
my God. Okay. One more. Is there a destination that you would love to organize a wedding for? Like where in the
I
world?
do. I do. I would love to organize in Japan. I love the
Ooh,
Asian culture and everything, and especially the Japanese culture would be really nice, and their weddings, how we could incorporate a few of their wedding cultures. So I would love to do there.
amazing. Um, Before I wrap up things, is there one piece of advice that you always share with your couples as they approach their wedding day?
I do. Again, enjoy the moment. Like enjoy every single bit. Just trust us and enjoy the moment. That's honestly the best advice I can give.
That's great advice. Yeah, I hope they listen to you.
They usually do. They usually do. I cannot complain.
Um, okay, one more question. Sorry, I have so many questions. How many languages does your team speak? Or
Um,
what languages does your team speak? That's
yeah,
interesting
I
for
would
people
say like,
listening.
yeah, Portuguese, English, and a bit of Spanish. I wouldn't say we speak way more than that.
Nope, good to know. Okay, so I just wanted to say thank you again for being here, for sharing your perspective, for talking about your approach to your clients' weddings. And, it's always a pleasure to see you. I hope I get to see you more over the summer. I know
I
in the
hope
summer it's so
so.
busy, but I would love to, come and catch up with your whole team and have coffee one day, and I'll bring the cake.
Oh,
Um,
that's amazing. Thank
And
you.
yeah, you're welcome. And if you're listening and you're recently engaged or you're dreaming about a wedding in Portugal that feels natural, heartfelt, and deeply personal, you can explore Doris's work at domaweddings.com.
Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
listening,
Thank
and see
you.
you next time. Thank you, Doris.
See you. Thank you.